Hi everyone. Um, it's so late at night. Is everyone doing okay? I probably still have only one subscriber, and whoever that person is, thank you so much. um, I have put out a few videos recently over the last year. But I think it's a total of 4. And one of my goals this year is to try and build this, but the main purpose of it was to give me an outlet to get all of the jumbled thoughts in my brain out. And I wanted to do that in multiple ways, but that didn't also involve like budgeting and all of that. And one of the um, things I recently discovered was crocheting, and I took it up because I watched this video of sure, I can't remember now, but um it was basically how working with your hands helps maintain higher brain function. Don't quote me on this, please. um but I did it because at the time I was getting so foggy a lot of the times, like in the middle of conversations I would actually just lose my train of thought and go blank. And it was exhausting, but also so embarrassing because I was never that person that would forget things. In fact, I remembered almost everything that happens to me. Um, but I thought today, um, I it's been such a rough 3 weeks for me at this point. I I haven't had the time, and the few videos that I've put out, I sort of forced myself to do it. And but there was something that happened at work today that sort of broke me in a sense. Um, I'm trying to remind myself that it's always that the universe always gives you a reminder for when you need to get back on track. And today was sort of that reminder, and it came from one of my bosses. And so I thought, I don't have the energy or the mental capacity to do a budget tracking video or a weekly track or a mid-month track. Um, so let me try and crochet something that I started in December, and I just never got through to finishing it. So crochet with me while I vent my frustrations from the last few weeks. Before we get to that, my friend was pregnant and she had her second baby. And when she told me it was going to be a boy. And I was so excited because I was finally getting to a place where I was like, no, I can afford something else, because ever since her daughter was born, I just couldn't. Um, the financial situation that I was in, I couldn't even go to visit her. I mean, I think the last time I saw her was 3 days after she was born, and it's been over a year now. I just cannot find the resources to be able to justify taking the drive to see her if it means me. At this point, it's the choice of go see your friend or be able to get to work. And if you can't get to work, then you get into trouble, right? Um, but yeah, so I decided that when I managed to get this, whoa, it's so soft, from this place in Decofen in Johannesburg. I think it's in Northcliffe, and it's so lovely. I bought like 4 rolls, and I wanted to make a blanket. So I said I was going to make it for me, and if it came for the baby, but if it came out a little bit wonky, I keep it for myself because I mean I live in an empty house at this point. And why not, right? And it also gives me a chance. This is the first time I'm trying a. I think this is a treble stitch or a double. I'm so sorry. I don't know the terminology. And let's see if we can sort of continue from where I stopped. If anyone's curious, this is a 4 millimeter heel, and I mean, I bought the set of needles, and it goes from a 2 millimeter, I think. Wait, here's the box. Let me check. Yeah, it goes from a 2 millimeter to a 6 millimeter, and I had incorrectly assumed that it would be a little bit higher, and I'm disappointed because the yarn I bought requires a 9 millimeter needle. So we make do with what we have, right? Anyway, let's get started. I honestly can't remember what I did. So if you can follow, I think, yay. Okay, so it is a double crochet stitch. I honestly don't know what I'm going to do when I get to the corner of this. I think it's a double stitch. Wait. A chain stitch, and then going into the corner again, another. Whew, I am suffering. I am suffering. I can't remember. Let's see. No, this is a corner. So I think it's a single chain. Oh Lord help me. Well, if it's wrong, then I guess we'll undo some stitches. So I get back to my venting story because I was so upset today, and my so I am essentially a executive assistant, right? But I work for two partners in our Johannesburg office, and I do the travel for the entire team, which consists of almost 150 people, including me. And the student finance. So the team that I work for essentially has a board certification, like you study for a lot of years, and you can work and you can do your work-based learning. So they basically hire you out of university, and it's not a chartered accountant or an engineer. And This spans both Cape Town and Johannesburg. Um, one of the things that I do is one of the things that I do is also cover the what do you call it? I'm so sorry. I'm so bad um at multitasking. I've just realized that. But I I also mainly assist with visa arrangements. Now, I don't know who um, decided this was a good idea, but they gave me the task a few years back. They gave me the task of helping for transfer for travel visas for almost 10 people going to Saudi Arabia. And I'm going to refer to it as KSA for now. But that entire project took me 3 whole weeks, 8 hours a day. Um, but I eventually got to them. And if you've dealt with the visa office, you would know that they are extremely pedantic. It's not it's not a bad thing, but they won't even make concessions. Like, we have obviously a language barrier between the documents that we have and prepare versus the documents that they have. And obviously, there are translation issues. And I promise you, the first time I did this was I had to amend this letter 7 times, and they had ridiculous requirements that we couldn't fulfill because it actually became a security issue. Anyway, so eventually I got it, but I ended up doing this visa at least twice a year, every year for the last 4 years. And I have gotten the process down to who to contact in the overseas office, how to get invitation letters, what do you need to do specifically with requirements in South Africa, how strict they are, what they will accept, what they won't accept. And I have been through the ringer the last few weeks because we again have almost 10 people going, and I've had to complete all of their stuff. Now, in addition to that, my two bosses are directors within our team, and we have um so I essentially manage their diary, I do their timesheets, I do their expenses, I basically do everything for them, and I support the team. Plus, we moved over from Google to um, Microsoft, which, let me tell you, if you're used to Google, it's kind of the bane of our existence right now, to move to Microsoft. But I've adapted, right? I've basically created a SharePoint site by myself, someone who's completely illiterate in like most things IT, even though I loved learning. But I was the dumbest person when it came to Excel sheets. I still don't know how to explain to you what a pivot table is. Don't judge me. But it's never really been a priority. But I worked for 2 days straight watching YouTube videos, going to Copilot, fixing stuff, racking my brain to find formulas to put into Excel sheets that I could use to track, because the people in my team are like 5-year-olds. And this is so bad to be venting to millions of people on the internet if I ever get back. it's 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 very frustrating because you literally have to tell 45-year-olds, you need to make sure that this over here says this, and that over there says that. And when you go, you need to take this and put it into that before you go into the place, and make sure you have this, this, and this. I promise you, I have 150 children. No, sorry, 149, because the the admin assistant in Cape Town is amazing. Honestly, I don't know how she does it, because I promise you, I would never do put up with the things that she does. And like, I never got it before, but have you noticed that most PAs, executive assistants, like in different companies, they are the worst people ever. Like, they're really good at their job. They can help you do whatever you need to do, but they have the worst personality. Like, the concept of honey versus vinegar, when trying to work with people and ask for things, they are completely sour. And in recent months, I completely understand. But anyway, so I have this one boss who never um, does what he's supposed to do, right? He's kind of entitled. Um, and I mean, we live in South Africa, so who in this country isn't? If they're not in a position of power. And did do this wrong. Oh, damn it. Anyway, but he is honestly unbearable sometimes. But you can get him to stand up for you on occasion, right? But like, it's rare. And I can honestly tell you that I don't know if he would do that for me, because at this point I really don't believe that. Um, mm, okay, that looks a little bit better. So, um, so I have been racking my brains, working till 8 o'clock every night for the last 3 weeks, because the other lady was also on leave. So there are two people in our entire team that's doing the work of four, and she's not even there anymore for the last 2 weeks. So I had to basically handle everything that came in for her as well, like, as much as possible. And don't get me wrong, like, this woman is amazing. She has the amount of things she does, um, that she can get through in a day is unbelievable. And I am snail's pace compared to her. But the thing is, I actually am really efficient. Um, so I have been racking my brains for the last 3 weeks, trying to sort these things out, trying to get everyone there. One of the partners in Cape Town is the most difficult person anyone will tell you that they've met. And he's one of the people that I have to assist for this now. And the thing is, how do you do that um, from like across the country? Anyway, I finally get to a point where today I felt so proud of myself, because I managed to get through the whole week. I did most of the things I needed to, which they would have considered a priority. And I made it to the end of the week. And now this boss who always comes to me and says, um, like he's supposed to be my coach. I've never had a coaching meeting with him in the 9 years that I've been working at this place. And do I do 3 or 4? Hmm. Oh, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Um. So this is 1. Oof, excuse me. I'm not sure if I can do this while looking at at my screen on my camera, or if I have to look, because I'm no expert at this, right? So I kind of do. Anyway, um, so one of the things that I admittedly couldn't keep up with this past few weeks was the diary management. But this guy, let me tell you, if he, I don't know how many times I've expressed him planning his day properly. He says it's not possible, but I have seen people in higher positions than him manage a lot more, and their diaries are so efficient, but they allow their PAs to manage it, and they're a lot more rigid to it. And this guy is just all over the place. And he hasn't. This is one of the directors who never speaks to me unless he needs something. Um, I hardly ever get a thank you, but to be honest, who comes across anyone these days where they automatically tell you thank you for anything that you've done? So it's not an expectation anymore. The problem is now I feel proud of myself. I am busy running around trying to get stuff certified as well. And I thought I had a meeting with him, which turns out he accepted a client meeting. And now I and he looks at me and he says, no, he's in a meeting now. So I'm like, okay, I didn't pay attention. Obviously because I didn't look at his diary. He comes in afterwards and he tells me, like, I just like you to pay attention to my diary, because like a client, I know people set recurring meetings, but I will also, like, I sometimes accept client meetings. And then you just need to tell those people to move their meetings and understand, like, they can't accept the and tell them to move it. Now, he is one of those people who will only accept or decline a meeting on the day that he gets it. And he takes out his calendar and he's like, no, this meeting came in on the 11th of March. But I promise you, during the last weeks where I have looked at his diary, the last 3 days, every morning has had 3 to 4 overlapping meetings. And when I ask him to check it or accept or decline, I don't get a response because everything else comes more important than what I need him to do for his own diary. Anyway, now imagine you been through all of this work for so long, and You finally make it to the end of the week. You're so excited. And the only time your one boss comes to you is to tell you that you need to pay attention to something in his diary that you missed. I think out of sheer panic, I made an excuse and told him that I was having issues with updating calendars. Because to be fair, I am. I have asked these people to investigate why I can't make certain adjustments in their calendars, and they just can't give me an answer, which is extremely frustrating because it complicates my work because these people have let people have so much leeway that I cannot actually keep up with the meetings that come in. I mean, my other boss has uh, he actually gives access to multiple people in the firm his access to his diary because they are managers on the thing, and they it helps them look at your diary and then set things up, which is frustrating because no one respects your diary. I mean, I feel so bad that sometimes I have to um, put in private breaks for him so like he could go to the loo or go and get something to eat. And I honestly don't know how these people do it. Does that look right? Kind of does, right? Um, might end up, you know, taking this out completely at another slide. And I think it is. Oh, I made three. Okay, let's do this again. Um, okay. So my job is a lot more difficult because everyone has access to their diaries and they don't respect it because they have meetings from sometimes 7 in the morning to 7 at night. And in during COVID, it was a lot worse. Um, so I honestly don't know how they actually have lives. But to be fair, these people earn a ridiculous amount of money. But I don't. So why am I made to be working like this? Now imagine you're you're spending your day trying to make it through. You have a plan, and then the one time that your boss decides to talk to you during the day is to tell you what you've been doing wrong. And whether you think it comes across that way or not, whether they mean for it to come through that way or not is not the point. Um, it's not how you deal with people. And if someone tells me that that is the life you choose when you live in corporate, I want to tell you to go to hell, because the basic thing that you could do is be courteous and kind to the people that work under you. Um, and it doesn't take anything. And you are not entitled to anything. And I have that opinion that I don't care who you are in this world. If you are not a nice person, I will never worship the ground that you walk on. Um, anyway, that's my vent for today. I mean, it took half an hour of me trying to navigate all of this, but I wanted to thank you for putting up with this. But I'm so glad that this week is over. The point of this was to vent because I was so upset about it. When he told me that, he left the office, and I ended up going to take a walk to the mall because I was so upset um, that I just needed to walk it off. But I still do, I decided that I'm going to come home and not do any work. And the thing is that I'm still stressing about all of the work that I have to do. Because at some point I am behind on, I am at least 2 months behind on one thing, and it involves their own money. So I'm definitely gonna get into trouble for it. Honestly, I'm at that point where some days I'm just waiting to see what they're going to do to me. Um, but it affected me so much that, like, I ended up getting sick. Like, you can hear my voice is not right. Um, I ended up getting a runny nose. My eyes are burning like you won't believe. And one of the things I told myself was that I was going to prioritize trying to do things for myself. And here I am. Um, hopefully, hopefully, um, I can wake up tomorrow and find it a little bit easier to navigate through the day. But all I want to do at this point is just lay in my bed and cry. And while I really want to do that, because I know being able to vent properly like that can be healthy, I feel like I don't even have the time for it at this point. I've also wanted to look for another job for so long, and not just another job, but like a supplementary job that would help me with all of my goals for this year. Or not even all of my goals, at least some of my goals. And I feel like the devil is working against me. Because every time I get down to it, there is something that happens that that um just ruins it. This looks so off. What the hell? Um I think I'm gonna have to start this all over again. Okay. Can't believe I'm doing this again. But look, compared to like 3 months ago when I started this, I think I did a pretty good job of getting this to like a decent square, right? Um, I think my starting template was pretty good. If anyone comes across this, please give me some suggestions on how I can fix this. Any suggestions on what I can make next, because I also have a goal. I have this pretty um, green wool that I started. I want to make a jersey for myself. I love this color. And I mean, it's already winter, so I might only finish it by the end of winter. And I don't have those fancy stitches that most people have for their crochets. But I think this would come out so pretty. I hope it's going to work. But please don't ask me what stitches this is, because I really can't remember at the moment. But these are my two projects for this year. This hopefully will become a jersey soon. And this will hopefully become a little blankie. I'm actually deciding to keep this for myself, even though I planned to give it to my friend. Um, I think I'm going to keep it for myself and use it in my office because um, my office is the coldest room in my place in winter. And while it's so amazing in summer, in winter, if I sit here for too long, my bones start paining. And I know that sounds weird, it makes me sound ancient. Um, but hey, we're all getting old. I might be the only person in the world that sort of likes the fact that I'm getting old. Um, but I will plan another process where I can just vent while I crochet. Because to be honest, while I'm so tired right now, I feel so much better. But I also really still don't want to do anything. Um, anyway, excuse the condition of everything. But thank you for listening to me. Thank you for taking the time. If you're watching this and you're not a subscriber, please subscribe and try and get me to 500 subscribers. I really hope you can. And if you have suggestions on any videos, please let me know. But essentially, this is going to be sort of a personal vlog in a sense. That's a combination of my life and everything that I'm trying to do to make it better and more peaceful and more stable. And yeah, thank you very much. Hope you have a good evening.